Hey, everyone loves a good vacation, right? You know, you save up your money, you book a flight, and you go somewhere amazing like Paris to see the Eiffel Tower. Or maybe you just chill out on a beautiful beach in the Maldives. We spend so much of our lives dreaming about seeing these incredible, beautiful places the world has to offer. But what if I told you that for every paradise on Earth, there's another place that is so incredibly dangerous, so life-threateningly insane, that you should never ever go there? These aren't your typical tourist spots with long lines. These are places where one wrong step, or even just one wrong breath, could literally be your last. So today, we're going on a virtual tour of the 15 most dangerous places on the entire planet. We're talking about everything from lakes that can explode with poison gas, to islands so full of deadly snakes that the government literally forbids anyone from going there. I really wanted to see if it was possible to visit these places, but honestly, it's just way too risky. So instead, I'm bringing these places to you from the safety of your screen. We're going to explore what makes them so hazardous, and why, no matter how adventurous you are, you need to cross these destinations off your bucket list immediately. Get ready, because some of these places are honestly straight out of a nightmare. We're going to count down from crazy to crazier, and trust me, you won't believe what's at number 1. I'm going to show you things that will totally blow your mind, from boiling acid lakes to deserts hotter than you can possibly imagine. So buckle up, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because you're not going to want to miss a single second of this insane journey into the world's most forbidden zones. Let's get into it. Alright, kicking off our list at number 15, we're heading to Chonburi, Thailand, to Aled the Elephant Kingdom. Now you hear Elephant Kingdom and you probably picture something majestic, maybe a sanctuary for gentle giants. But this place became famous for something way more terrifying, its crocodile farm, and the way they let tourists interact with these prehistoric killing machines was absolutely insane. Imagine this, you, a handful of other tourists, and a bucket of raw meat, all crammed onto a rickety raft made of metal poles and plastic barrels, floating in the middle of a pond filled with massive, hungry crocodiles. That's right. For just a few bucks you could stand on this makeshift cage, dangling beef and chicken on a flimsy fishing pole just inches above the snapping jaws of dozens of crocs. The rafts were barely holding together, with wide gaps in the floor that a foot could easily slip through. The crocodiles would leap out of the water, thrashing and biting right next to where people were standing. It was a viral sensation, but it was also an accident just waiting to happen. There was literally nothing stopping someone from falling in, or a croc from getting a lucky bite. The whole operation was just pure chaos. Photos and videos went viral online showing people laughing and dangling meat while these giant reptiles swarmed their floating cage. It looked like something out of a cartoon, but the danger was 100% real. Eventually, the authorities caught wind of how incredibly unsafe this whole thing was. After a massive public outcry and a police investigation, the park's crocodile farm was forced to shut down for good in 2016. They just couldn't guarantee the safety of the visitors, which I mean, yeah, no kidding. So, while you can't visit this specific attraction anymore, it serves as a crazy reminder of how far some places will go for a tourist thrill. It's one thing to see a crocodile from a safe distance, but it's another thing entirely to be the bait. Starting our list with a tourist trap that was literally a death trap seems pretty fitting. Let's move on to the next one, because it only gets crazier from here. For number 14, we're flying over to Australia to a place that looks like an absolute paradise, Fraser Island. It's the world's largest sand island with stunning freshwater lakes, lush rainforests, and miles of beautiful white sand beaches. It looks like the perfect vacation spot, but don't let the looks fool you. Literally every single part of this island is trying to get you. It's like nature's ultimate booby trap. Let's start with the water. You see that crystal clear ocean? You do not want to swim in it. The waters surrounding Fraser Island are a hot spot for some of the world's deadliest creatures. We're talking great white sharks patrolling the coastline, looking for a meal. If the sharks don't get you, the jellyfish might. The waters are infested with irukandji and bluebottle jellyfish, some of the most venomous creatures on the planet. A sting from an irukandji is not only excruciatingly painful but can be fatal. So, the beautiful inviting ocean is basically a no-go zone. You're safer staying on the sand. But wait, the danger doesn't stop when you get out of the water. The land itself is just as hazardous. The island is famous for its population of wild dingoes. They might look like cute dogs, but they are wild predators, and have been known to be very aggressive towards humans, especially children. There have been numerous attacks over the years, some of them fatal. On top of the dingoes, the island is also home to 18 species of snakes, including the deadly eastern brown snake, one of the most venomous in the world. So you can't swim in the ocean because of sharks and jellyfish, and you can't relax on the land because of dingoes and snakes. Even the freshwater lakes, which are safer from sharks, have their own issues. What looks like paradise is actually a constant survival challenge. Fraser Island is a perfect example of a place where beauty and danger go hand in hand. And it proves that sometimes the most beautiful places are the ones you should admire from a very, very safe distance. Coming in at number 13, we have a place that doesn't look threatening at all. It's a beautiful, serene body of water in Cameroon called Lake Nyos. For years it was just a normal crater lake, a source of water for the local villages. Nobody had any idea that deep beneath the surface a silent killer was building up, just waiting to be unleashed. This isn't a story about dangerous animals, this is a story about the Earth itself becoming a weapon. See, Lake Nyos sits on top of a pocket of magma, deep underground. For centuries, carbon dioxide, or CO2, from this magma had been seeping into the bottom of the lake, dissolving into the water under immense pressure. The lake became a ticking time bomb, supersaturated with an invisible, odorless gas. The people living nearby had no idea that the very ground they lived on was creating a weapon of mass destruction right in their backyard. All it needed was a trigger. On August 21, 1986, that trigger was pulled. No one knows for sure what caused it, maybe a landslide, a small volcanic eruption, or even just cold rainwater disturbing the layers of the lake. But something caused the deep CO2-rich water to suddenly rise to the surface. As the pressure was released, the dissolved gas exploded outwards in a massive, violent eruption. It was like opening a shaken-up soda bottle the size of a lake. A huge cloud of over a cubic kilometer of CO2 gas burst from the lake. This massive, invisible cloud was heavier than air, so it didn't just float away. It hugged the ground and rolled down the surrounding hillsides at speeds of up to 100 kilometers per hour, silently flowing into the nearby valleys and villages. The gas displaced all the oxygen. In minutes, over 1,700 people and 3,500 livestock suffocated to death, some in their sleep, with no warning. It was a horrific, silent disaster. Today, scientists have installed a degassing pipe to prevent it from happening again, but Lake Nyos remains a chilling reminder of the invisible dangers that can lurk in the most peaceful-looking places. Okay, for number 12, we're going to a place that might be in your own backyard if you live in the United States, Mount Washington, New Hampshire. Now, looking at it, you might not be impressed. It's not Everest, it's not even the tallest peak in the country. It stands at just over 6,200 feet. You might think, I could hike that. And you might be right, but you would be gambling with your life. Mount Washington is known for one thing above all else, having the most extreme and dangerously erratic weather on the entire planet. This mountain holds the record for the highest wind speed ever recorded outside of a tornado or cyclone. In 1934, researchers at the Summit Observatory clocked a wind gust of 231 miles per hour. That's actually faster than a Category 5 hurricane. The average wind speed year-round is over 35 miles per hour. It's so consistently windy that trees can't even grow near the top, creating a barren, alien-like landscape above the tree line. The wind alone is enough to knock you off your feet and send you tumbling down the rocky slopes. But it's not just the wind. The temperatures on Mount Washington are absolutely brutal. Even in the summer it can be freezing at the summit, with temperatures dropping well below zero. The wind chill can make it feel like negative 100 degrees Fahrenheit in the winter. This combination of hurricane-force winds and Arctic temperatures is a lethal cocktail. More than 150 people have died on this mountain. Many of them experienced hikers who were simply caught off guard by the weather's sudden, violent changes. The mountain's location at the convergence of several major storm tracks makes it a magnet for bad weather. A beautiful, sunny day at the base can turn into a life-threatening blizzard at the summit in a matter of minutes. The signs at the trailhead literally say, "The area ahead has the worst weather in America." Many have died there from exposure, even in the summer. Turn back now if the weather is bad. It's a small mountain with a big, deadly reputation. Next up at number 11, we're traveling to Indonesia to witness something that looks like it's from another planet, the Kawah Ijen volcano. This place is famous for a truly surreal phenomenon. At night you can see eerie, electric blue flames flickering down the sides of the volcano. It's not lava, it's superheated sulfuric gas that ignites when it hits the air, creating a spectacular and ghostly light show. It's honestly one of the most mesmerizing natural wonders in the world, but getting close to it is incredibly dangerous. The source of these blue flames is a massive deposit of pure sulfur inside the volcano's crater. This is also where you'll find the world's largest acidic crater lake. The water in this lake is a stunning turquoise color, but it's basically a giant pool of hydrochloric and sulfuric acid. It has a pH level close to 0, which means it can dissolve metal and will cause severe chemical burns to human skin almost instantly. Just the fumes coming off the lake are toxic and can cause serious respiratory damage. Despite these insane conditions, people actually work here. For generations, local miners have braved the volcano to harvest the solid sulfur. They climb down into the crater with minimal protective gear, often just a wet cloth over their mouths, and break off huge chunks of yellow sulfur. They then have to carry these heavy loads, sometimes weighing up to 200 pounds, back up the steep crater rim and down the mountain. It's really one of the most physically demanding and hazardous jobs on Earth. The miners are constantly exposed to the toxic gases, which leads to severe long-term health problems. A visit to Kawah Ijen is a jarring experience. You're witnessing this otherworldly beauty of blue fire and a turquoise lake, but you're also witnessing the brutal reality of the human cost of extracting resources from such a hostile environment. It's a place of stunning beauty and incredible hardship, and it's definitely not a place for a casual hike. For our number 10 spot, we're going deep underground in Mexico to a place that looks like Superman's Fortress of Solitude, the Nika Crystal Cave. This cave is home to some of the largest natural crystals ever found on Earth. We're talking about massive milky white beams of selenite crystal, some of them over 36 feet long and weighing 55 tons. It's an absolutely breathtaking, magical-looking place that seems like it was built by, an alien civilization. But there's a reason it was only discovered in the year 2000 and why almost no one is allowed inside. The conditions inside the Cave of Crystals are beyond extreme. The cave is located nearly 1,000 feet underground, right above a chamber of magma. This magma heats the cave to a blistering 136 degrees Fahrenheit, or 58 degrees Celsius. That is unbelievably hot. But the real danger is the humidity, which is consistently between 90 to 99%. This combination of extreme heat and humidity is lethal. Normally your body cools itself by sweating, and the sweat evaporates. In the Nika cave, the air is so saturated with moisture that your sweat can't evaporate. Your body has no way to cool down and your internal temperature starts to rise rapidly. Even worse, the hot, humid air will start to condense on the surface of your lungs, which can lead to fluid buildup and, essentially, drowning. Without protection, an unprotected person would likely lose consciousness in about 10 minutes and wouldn't survive much longer. To explore the cave, scientists and researchers have to wear specially designed cooling suits that look like something an astronaut would wear. These suits have a network of tubes filled with ice water and a respirator to provide cool, breathable air. Even with all this high-tech gear, they can only stay inside the cave for about 30 to 45 minutes at a time before it becomes too dangerous. It's a subterranean wonderland that will literally cook you from the inside out. At number 9, we're venturing into the Amazon rainforest to Madidi National Park in Bolivia. On paper, this place sounds incredible. It's recognized as one of the most biodiverse places on the entire planet, with a staggering number of plant and animal species. It's a stunningly beautiful, untouched wilderness. But this biodiversity is precisely what makes it so incredibly dangerous. Everything here, from the plants to the insects, seems to have evolved to be as deadly as possible. If you were to get lost in Madidi, you wouldn't just be dealing with predators like jaguars or pumas. The real threat comes from the smaller things. The park is filled with highly poisonous plants that can cause severe rashes, itching, and allergic reactions just from brushing against them. There are fungi that can release toxic spores and countless insects with venomous bites or stings. The bullet ant, whose sting is said to be the most painful in the world, lives here. It's like walking through a minefield of natural toxins. But the biggest danger might be something you can't even see. The jungle is teeming with parasites and bacteria that can cause deadly diseases. A simple cut or scratch, even an insect bite, can quickly become infected with flesh-eating bacteria or other tropical diseases that are difficult to treat. One famous story involves a group of tourists and their guide who got lost in the park for weeks. They were constantly tormented by insects, and some of them developed gruesome foot infections from jungle fungi. Even the indigenous people who live in and around the park have a deep respect for its dangers, relying on generations of knowledge to survive. For an outsider without an expert guide, the park is a green labyrinth of death. It's a place that proves that all natural doesn't always mean safe. In Madidi National Park, nature is not your friend, it is a powerful and unforgiving force. For number 8, we're heading to the far east of Russia, to the Kamchatka Peninsula. This is a land of volcanoes and geysers, and hidden within it is a place with a terrifying name, the Valley of Death. It's a relatively small area, only about a mile long, located at the base of the Kikpinich volcano. From a distance, it might look like any other valley, but as you get closer, you'll notice something deeply unsettling. The ground is littered with the dead bodies of animals. Birds, foxes, bears, wolverines, all sorts of animals that wander into this valley meet a swift and silent end. And what's even stranger is that their bodies don't decompose properly. They remain perfectly preserved for a long time, as if they've been mummified. For years the cause was a mystery, leading to local legends about evil spirits. But scientists eventually figured out what was happening, and the truth is just as scary. The valley is a natural gas chamber. The nearby volcano releases a continuous stream of heavy, poisonous gases, primarily hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide. Because these gases are heavier than air, they don't blow away in the wind. Instead, they accumulate in the low-lying valley, forming an invisible, deadly pool. When animals wander down into the valley, especially during calm, windless weather, they breathe in this toxic cocktail and are quickly overcome. They suffocate and die within minutes. The same poisonous gases that kill them also inhibit the bacteria that cause decomposition, which is why their bodies remain so well preserved. It's a grim, natural museum of death. Rangers and scientists who study the area know to only enter for very short periods and only when there's a strong wind to disperse the gases. It's a stark reminder that some of the most peaceful-looking places can be hiding the most insidious dangers. Coming in at number 7, we have a place that is frequently called the cruelest place on Earth or hell on Earth, and honestly it lives up to the name. This is the Danakil Desert, which stretches across parts of Eritrea, Ethiopia, and Djibouti in Africa. It is, without a doubt, one of the most alien and inhospitable landscapes on our planet. It's a place of extreme heat, toxic gases, and bizarre, colorful geological formations. The first thing that will hit you is the heat. This is one of the lowest and hottest places on Earth. Temperatures regularly soar above 122 degrees Fahrenheit, or 50 degrees Celsius. The ground itself can be scorching hot. It's a dry, barren wasteland where rain is almost non-existent. Just being here puts your body under immense stress from dehydration and heat stroke. It is not a place you can survive for long without a constant supply of water. But the heat is just the beginning. The Danakil Desert is also one of the most geologically active places in the world. The Earth's crust is incredibly thin here, and the land is being ripped apart by 3 tectonic plates. This results in numerous active volcanoes, constant earthquakes, and vast salt plains. There are geysers that spew toxic chlorine and sulfur gas into the air, creating a poisonous atmosphere in certain areas. The most famous feature is the Dalal hydrothermal field. It looks like a psychedelic painting with bubbling pools of acid, sulfur, and salt creating vibrant yellow, green, and orange landscapes. It's stunningly beautiful but incredibly dangerous. The pools are highly acidic, the ground is unstable, and the air is filled with poisonous fumes. Despite these hellish conditions, the Afar people live here, mining salt by hand in a tradition that has lasted for centuries. For anyone else, the Danakil Desert is a deadly, otherworldly landscape that pushes the limits of life itself. Alright, at number 6 we're back in the USA, visiting a place with a very appropriate name, Death Valley, California. This place holds the official record for the highest air temperature ever recorded on Earth, a mind-boggling 134 degrees Fahrenheit, or 56.7 degrees Celsius, measured way back in 1913. It is the hottest, driest, and lowest national park in the country. It's a land of extremes, and if you're not prepared, it will live up to its name. The relentless heat is the primary danger. In the summer, temperatures consistently stay above 120 degrees Fahrenheit. The sun beats down with no mercy, and there is very little shade. Dehydration and heat stroke are a constant and serious risk. Even a short walk can be deadly. Your car's air conditioning can fail, Tires can blow out on the hot pavement, and if you get stranded, you're in a life-or-death situation. Park rangers deal with rescue situations all the time, many of them involving tourists who underestimated the brutal conditions. Beyond the heat, Death Valley is a place of strange and mysterious phenomena. One of the most famous is the sailing stones at Racetrack Playa. These are large rocks, some weighing hundreds of pounds, that seem to move across the flat, dry lake bed on their own, leaving long tracks behind them. For decades, no one could explain it. It was a complete mystery. Scientists eventually figured out that it's a rare combination of ice, water, and wind that pushes the rocks, but for a long time it just added to the valley's eerie reputation. Despite the harsh name and conditions, Death Valley is a place of incredible beauty. There are stunning sand dunes, colorful badlands, and rugged canyons, but it demands respect. There are countless warning signs advising visitors to carry extra water, stay on paved roads, and avoid hiking in the heat of the day. It's a powerful reminder that even in a developed country like the US, there are still places where nature is firmly in charge, and a single mistake can be your last. For number 5, we're heading to Tanzania, to a place that sounds like it's straight out of Greek mythology. This is Lake Natron, and it has a terrifying superpower. It can turn animals that die in its waters into stone-like statues. It's not a myth, it's a horrifying and fascinating chemical process. The lake is lined with the calcified bodies of birds and bats that made the fatal mistake of trying to land on its surface. So how does this happen? Lake Natron is what's known as a soda lake, which means it is incredibly alkaline. Its waters are filled with a high concentration of sodium carbonate and other minerals that flow in from the surrounding hills. The pH level of the water can reach over 10.5, which is almost as alkaline as ammonia. This is extremely caustic and can cause severe burns to the skin and eyes of animals that aren't adapted to it. The water temperature can also reach a blistering 140 degrees Fahrenheit or 60 degrees Celsius. When an animal like a bird dies and falls into the lake, the unique chemical composition of the water goes to work. The sodium carbonate acts as a fantastic preservative, almost like the mummification process used by the ancient Egyptians. It calcifies the body, protecting it from decomposition. Over time, the animal is left as a perfectly preserved, stone-like statue. It's a gruesome and surreal sight. Despite these deadly conditions, some life has adapted to thrive here. The lake is one of the most important breeding grounds for lesser flamingos, who build their nests on salt islands that form in the lake, keeping them safe from predators. The flamingos have tough skin and can drink water from freshwater inlets to survive. For almost everything else, however, Lake Natron is a deadly trap, a beautiful reddish-pink lake that hides a petrifying secret. At number 4, we're sailing into the heart of a legend, a place that has terrified sailors and pilots for generations, the Bermuda Triangle. This infamous stretch of the Atlantic Ocean, roughly defined between Bermuda, Florida, and Puerto Rico, has been blamed for the mysterious disappearance of dozens of ships and aircraft. For decades, the stories have been epic. Ships found adrift with no crew, planes vanishing from radar without a trace, and compasses spinning wildly. The legend really took off after World War II. In 1945, Flight 19, a squadron of 5 U.S. Navy torpedo bombers vanished during a training exercise. A rescue plane sent to find them also disappeared. All 27 crewmen were lost and no wreckage was ever found. This incident, along with many others, cemented the Triangle's reputation as a paranormal hotspot. Theories ranged from alien abductions and portals to another dimension to strange magnetic fields and unknown technologies from the lost city of Atlantis. However, scientists and skeptics offer more down-to-earth explanations. The Bermuda Triangle is located in an area with notoriously bad weather. It's in the middle of Hurricane Alley, where violent and unpredictable storms can form in minutes. The Gulf Stream, a powerful ocean current, can also create rapid weather changes and can quickly disperse any wreckage, making it nearly impossible to find. Many of the mysterious disappearances have since been explained by severe weather or human error. Another popular scientific theory involves rogue waves. These are massive, spontaneous waves that can reach heights of over 100 feet, far larger than normal waves. A wave like that could easily swallow a large ship whole, leaving no time for a distress call. Furthermore, the area has deep underwater trenches, some of the deepest in the Atlantic, where a sunken ship or plane could be lost forever. So while the mystery might not be aliens, the Bermuda Triangle is still a genuinely dangerous place to travel due to its extreme and unpredictable natural forces. For our number 3 spot, we're returning to Indonesia, a country that sits on the Ring of Fire and is no stranger to volcanic activity. But this volcano, Mount Sinabung, is particularly terrifying because of its recent and violent history. For over 400 years, Sinabung was completely dormant. It was considered safe. People lived and farmed on its fertile slopes for generations with no idea of the power sleeping beneath them. Then, in August 2010, it woke up. With very little warning, Sinabung erupted for the first time since the year 1600. It sent a massive plume of ash and smoke miles into the sky, forcing thousands of people to evacuate their homes. But that was just the beginning. That initial eruption marked the start of a new, violent, and unpredictable phase for the volcano. It has been erupting intermittently ever since. The real danger from Sinabung isn't just the lava, it's the pyroclastic flows. These are superheated, fast-moving avalanches of ash, rock, and gas that race down the sides of the volcano at hundreds of miles per hour, incinerating everything in their path. They are impossible to outrun, and are one of the most destructive forces in nature. In 2014, a major eruption produced a deadly pyroclastic flow that killed at least 16 people, including schoolchildren who had returned to their village in what was thought to be a safe zone. More eruptions have followed, in 2016, 2018, and even as recently as 2021, each time displacing thousands of people and covering the landscape in a thick layer of gray ash. The area around the volcano is now a permanent danger zone. Entire villages have been abandoned, leaving behind ghost towns slowly being reclaimed by nature and buried in ash. Sinabung is a terrifying example of how a dormant giant can reawaken, turning a peaceful home into a deadly, uninhabitable wasteland in the blink of an eye. And now for the number 1 most dangerous place you should never, ever visit. We are going to an island off the coast of Brazil that is so unbelievably hazardous that the Brazilian government has made it illegal for any civilian to even set foot on it. This is Ilha da Queimada Grande, better known by its terrifying nickname, Snake Island. This place is not a metaphor, it is literally an island completely overrun with thousands of the world's most venomous snakes. The specific snake that rules this island is the golden lancehead viper. This species is found nowhere else on Earth, and its venom is horrifyingly potent. It's 3 to 5 times stronger than the venom of its mainland relatives, and it's so fast-acting that it can melt human flesh. A bite from a golden lancehead causes kidney failure, internal bleeding, brain hemorrhage, and death in over 7% of cases even with treatment. Without treatment, your chances of survival are almost zero, and these snakes are everywhere. Scientists estimate that there is, on average, 1 deadly snake for every square meter of the island. Think about that. Wherever you step, you are within striking distance of a golden lancehead. They are in the trees, on the ground, in the rocks. There is no safe place. There is no escape. The reason they evolved to be so venomous is that their main prey is birds. Their venom needs to be strong enough to kill a bird instantly before it can fly away. The only people allowed on the island are a handful of brave scientists and the Brazilian Navy, who make an annual trip to maintain the lighthouse, which was automated long ago after the last lighthouse keeper and his family reportedly died from snake bites. Snake Island is the definition of a forbidden land. It is nature's fortress, a place so saturated with death that humanity has agreed to just leave it alone. It is, without a doubt, the most dangerous place on Earth. And that is it. From crocodile death traps to an island where you can't walk without stepping on a deadly snake, those were 15 of the most dangerous, terrifying, and absolutely forbidden places on Earth. It's crazy to think that these places exist on the same planet where we live our daily lives. While I would never actually go to any of these spots, exploring them from right here was an insane adventure. Let me know in the comments which one of these places you thought was the absolute scariest. For me, it has to be Snake Island. I can't even imagine it. Thank you so much for watching. We put a ton of work into finding and researching these insane locations for you guys, and if you enjoyed it, the single best thing you can do to support the channel is to hit that big red subscribe button. We have so many more crazy videos planned, exploring the most amazing and unbelievable things this world has to offer, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Also, click the notification bell so you get notified every single time I upload a new video. If you want to see more right now, I highly recommend you check out some of our other videos. We have a video on the top 10 most mysterious disappearances that you guys will love, and our video on 10 creatures found in the deep sea is absolutely mind-blowing. The links are on the screen right now. Just click one of them, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks again for watching, and stay safe out there.